So now we work on the next layer. Now, with the next layer, normally what I would do is by extending it out, I'd hit the corners again. But as was shown to me, maybe I shouldn't do that. Maybe what I should do is start working on these guys and then have a similar strategy to get it back. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go based on the possibility that maybe, just maybe, things have been reset to a pretty good degree over here. So let's see. This needs to come over to here. Or maybe this needs to come over to here. It's hard for me to say. Either way, let's 3-cycle it once. But now I'm going to be moving this layer and this layer. So that should be easy enough for me to remember. So this is my R here now. UI. And now this layer over here. LI. U. RI. UI. And L. So we're winding our way closer and closer, and as you can see, does this fit? I guess it's kind of hard to say without these guys to act as buffers. But I'm going to say sure. Why not? I can always move this down and see if it fits better. It's a tough one. That is a tough one. I'm going to say no because this looks pretty congruous with this, and this does not belong here. These two, so yeah, we're going to say that's cool. Let's work on the green one here, or the blue one, depending on what I have available to me. Here's the green one right here. So we'll move this along here. This is the... Oh, actually, okay. You know what? This blue one appears to be in place, but I don't think this is the right blue one. This is the right blue one over here. So I think we're going to have to move one up. So if we want to get these in line, we're going to want to move this blue one up. So let's move this over here, just for the sake of moving the blue one up. So forward, forward, back, back, bang. And like I say, it's important to not lose concentration, because if you forget what layer you're doing, you have completely undermined a lot of what you just did. So this is good over here. Is this good over here? Well, I think we're working on the blue one. I don't think we liked this green one, although now that I think of it, this looks like it's pretty good over here. Looks like we can move this like so. What I'm going to want to do, since I have nothing here, let's move this green one in over here. Eventually we're going to want to move this yellow one out, but let's start working on this side because we don't have anything here. So forward, back, back, bang, bang, zoom, kerpow. Okay, so I got a green one here. We've got a light blue one. And once again, these guys appear to be in. I'm not so sure that this is the correct blue one over here. Well, I think it is, because this is the correct one over here. You can see this one fits pretty flush. So I'm going to say this one is 2. All right, very good. So what do we want to get in next? A light blue one or the purple one? Well, why don't we try the purple one? Because actually, yeah, we can do that. So I'm just going to move this over here. And to 3-cycle it twice, this will be in here and this will be up here. That's kind of what I want. Because then all but one will be in with this one and 2 will be out with this one, a very familiar scenarios. So let's take inventory here. This is in, not in, not in. These two need to be swapped. This is in, this is in, this is in, not in. Perfect. We have ourselves a preparation for a 3-cycle. This is not actually in. It looks like it's in, but it's not. It's the right color, but it's not the right shape. You can see it's skewed, but that's exactly what I wanted for the situation where these two need to be flipped. These two need to be flipped, which basically means they need to be 3-cycled. And in one fell swoop, this will come, well, in 2 fell swoops, I guess. 1, 2, 1, 2, and 1, 2. So, first one, forward, back, back, bang, bang, zoom, pow. One more time, should be golden, forward, forward, back, back, boom, boom, bang, bang. So it's really kind of a marathon session. And all you have to do is look at the different layers to know that you're three cycling. So these corners are actually in. Now all that work may have been for nothing because I may have to do what I did last time, but at least we know this is pretty simple. So now the fun continues. We're going to have to one by one put all these in by organizing 3 cycles. 3 cycle algorithms of the same form to each one. So I'm going to start working on these over here. I'm going to move this layer. So this will move here, and then when it comes back, it's going to move from this layer as it moves the other way to here, this layer. So we predict a movement of here, this piece, this tiny little wedge piece from here to here, here to, I guess, here, and here to here. So we can start coordinating things like that. Well, this belongs over here, so at least we can get things started. This little thing over to here. So let's just practice. This is our R. UI, this is here. So this one is the one that we're using, second to last. Then swing it down. Bring this down, and I can use the odd ones out to sort of help guide me. And this comes here, and this comes down. Alright, so this was properly placed, and that's what I'm doing, component by component, jigsaw puzzle by jigsaw puzzle. Okay, so now that I have that, let's get another one in, just on this side. So how about one that can be cycled into here? So there's 2 types. It's going to be this or the tiny ones. This is going to be a tiny orange, which is going to come from either here or here. I move this here, and this can cycle into here. I like this coming up to here. This will be solved. So here to here, here to here, I guess, or here rather, and then here to here. So forward, forward. So this moved in. I'm just going to follow where that goes. Bang, bang, zoom, pow, splat, kerplunk. And this turns here. All right, one more. We'll put this in. This actually is not where we want it to be, but actually this will. So this next 2 cycle, we'll put the green one here. This will come here to do no good for anyone. This will come here to do a lot of good right here. So, okay, so you can see this taking shape pretty nicely here. But more importantly, this is in and this is in, so I can move this whole side down, because basically these are where they need to be. Now we just work on these guys. Here we're going to do 2 3 cycles. In 2 cycles, this will end up over here, which is what I want. This will end up over here, which is what I want. And this will end up over here, which is what I want. Pretty good 3 cycle. So, okay. So this looks good over here. This is good over here. This is good over here. So what we have is this is in, this is in, this is in, and this is in. All these are in. That might not be a good thing for our purposes. This is in, this is in, this is not, and this is not. These 2 need to be swapped. So this is a 2 cycle, which we can't do. So as you know, we're going to move on, but we're going to move on keeping these out of alignment. And then we're going to have to do really a similar thing. Hopefully we can easily get these out. So I probably shouldn't have put these in. But let's cautiously proceed from here. Now we're going to focus on this side. So I'm going to turn this upside down. Well, I probably don't even need to do that. The next cycle is going to be, I'm still in the same level here, down here I suppose, and it's going to be these little guys. So this will come up here, this will come to, I guess, here, and this will come down here. So what I'm looking for is I'm looking for the small, I'm looking for what I can do. Well, the small blue ones are over here, and the small purple one is over here. So if I go like this, yeah, if I go like this, just like that, what's going to happen is this is going to come here, which is good. This is going to come over to here, and this is going to come over to here. So at the very least, I'll be putting this one in so we can see what that looks like. Although we have to bear in mind, this is the one that, and this is the side that's not going to work so good for us. No, actually that's fine. Okay, so let's try it. Again, we're going to kind of keep track of this one. So forward, forward, back. Now it's this layer that we're using, not the previous one. Back. This is how I isolate these 3 cycles. Just by isolating layers, I can control which ones are going to be brought down. And move it here. And as predicted, this is up here. This came here. One more cycle will bring that in. So let's move this out to anywhere, really. Doesn't really matter to me. This will come here. So this will come up here uselessly. This will come down here for no particular reason. This will come here. Okay, forward, forward, back. Again, this layer. This is my new L, or in this case Li. Boom, bang, bang. Okay, so now this is in. So this next 3 cycle, we'll put this to here, this to here, and this to here. Forward, forward, back, back, bang, bang, zoom, pow. Okay, so we're getting there. That's there, which is what I wanted. Let's take inventory. So this is in, this is in, this is in. Okay, I have just one more here. So now when I have just one more, this becomes my top. And I'm going to move this into position where only this is going to be left to 3 cycle. So looking here, this is solved. We want to solve this one over here. So I have to find the little green one. Yeah, I think what I'm going to have to do is move it twice. Once we'll move this down here. Twice we'll move it over here. And this will move up here. So let's just do it and see what happens. Forward. Forward. Bang. Zoom. Pow. Splat. Kerplop. Okay. Now I put that one in here nicely. Probably not exactly what I wanted to do. So this isn't in, this is in, this is in, and this isn't in. That's not exactly the 3 cycle, or the 2 cycle setup that I was looking for. What I actually want is I don't want this to be solved, I don't want this to be solved. I actually want this one to be the one that's solved. So by any means necessary, I need to get the proper green one in here. So 1 3 cycle is going to do that. So forward. Forward. Bang. Bang. Zoom. Pow. Splat. Kerplop. Okay, now believe it or not, that did serve my function here because I'm trying to get this one in and this one in. These two are actually going to be my solve sides eventually. So now I'm going to move this here for the purposes of moving this green one in. When I do that, this will be here, and this will be here, meaning that these two need to be cycled just like these two. So at least I'm being consistent. I hope that makes sense. In other words, these two need to be cycled. I need to make it to where these two need to be cycled. So I'm going to move this yellow one to here, and this green one is going to end up here. So it's all going to make sense. Trust me. Forward. Forward. Bang. Bang. Zoom. Pow. Splat. Kerplunk. Okay. So this is pretty consistent. This needs to be cycled, this needs to be cycled. Okay, so we're actually good. And this is all back. So now we have these three sets here, and now we're going to be working on these guys. Now again, this is taking some concentration because unfortunately we're going to have to be flipping and flopping sides here. Now the 3 cycle that's going to be done with this, I can still pattern it pretty much the same way. I can really pick any sides that I want. But basically what's going to be happening here is this is going to come to 1, 2, 3 here. It might be best if we do it this way, because that's a little too low. Instead, why don't we cycle it like this? So let's say we have the purple here. This will come here, and then when I cycle it back here, this will come 3 down to here, and then this will come back to here. So obviously that's not one that we're going to want to cycle, but this one is. Where do we want it? Let's be sure here. You know, I take it back. We do it from here. Sorry. This is going to come to here. That makes sense. This is going to come to here, and this is going to come up to here. So why don't we go ahead and practice with that. Move this one up, this one to here, and this one to here. So forward. This is my new R over here. UI. L is all the way back here. All the way at the end. I swing it on back, and then just move those layers that don't belong back in. Turn, turn, turn. Bang. Okay. So notice I did put the blue one, the green one here, but it's very apparent that's not the right green one. The right green one is probably hanging out somewhere else. And that's hanging out right here. So let's do it again. This will come here, this will come here, this will come here. That'll be fine. Forward, back, back, bang, zoom, pow, splat, and up. So there it is over here. So that's that particular 3 cycle. This to here, this to here, this to here. And now we just keep following suit, as I say. Why don't I do it like this? Take this purple, move the purple to here, the blue to here, this green to here. So at least the purple will be in, and it'll take this blue out so I can put it in here. How's that sound to you? So this comes here, 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 bang, oops, don't get confused like I just did, here, here, and here. Okay, so this purple was indeed moved up, so we're looking pretty good here. And now we just have this one to put in. But before I do that, I may want to make sure that I put everything else where they need to be. So this blue needs to come down to here. So I'm not ready to move that into place yet. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this blue, will end up here, this will end up here, and this will end up over here. So I'm pretty much ready to I'm not ready to solve the 3-cycle version of this yet. It's the second one in because I want to see how many of these I can get in. Keep in mind that I'm keeping this level, these two, being unsolved. Trying to keep it to where these two need to be exchanged. These two, all of these two are going to eventually need to be exchanged, and I'm well on my way with that. So, forward, back, back, bang, bang. Now, zoom, zoom. Now, bear in mind, I don't really know for sure if this is going to work the way that I planned it. So I'm going to have to kind of variate things as they happen. But all I know is this is where it needs to be. And in order to hold to my plan, I'm going to have to move. This is out. This is out. Where's the yellow? Is the yellow here? The yellow is here. The yellow is here, actually. Okay. So I think this is going to work out okay. And here's why I say that. Because ultimately I want this yellow to come in. So 1, 2, this yellow will be in, and everything will be fine. 1, 2, this blue will be in. 1, 2, this green will be in. Light green, to which you'd say it's not supposed to be there, but that's okay. We're trying to make it to where it has to be swapped with this. So basically all of these are in. The second one's in. That's what we wanted. This isn't in. This isn't in. This is in. This is in. Not in. Not in. And that's only because these two need to be swapped, which is what we were counting on anyway. So it does take a lot of concentration to be holding to the goals that I'm trying to hold to with this, because eventually these two are going to be swapped. Now the next step in our little quest here is these guys, the ones that are in here, and that we're going to be swapping in through here. So let's just see what needs to be in and what needs to be out. This has to move down so it can come here. All of these are pretty much not where they need to be, nor is this. So let me try to coordinate this here. 1, 2, we'll put this in. 1, 2, we'll put this in, and 1, 2, we'll not put this in, but we can work on that later. So basically now, my R is going to be this, and my L is going to be this. So I'm now skewed it again to where I can cycle this to here, this to here, this to here. Forward, back, back. This comes across here, and now we're moving this one down, this comes here, and this one down. So really, just step by step, putting these things in. Okay, one more will achieve the goal that I'm looking for, 3 cycling this to here, this to here, this to here. Forward, back, back. You can see us slowly assembling these things. Bang, zoom. All right, look at that. Nice, very nice. So that's good over here. This is good over here. And now we're going to come over here because ultimately we want to move this into position, but not this, even though we're about to do that here. But let's see what needs to be moved in over here. I need a purple one here, and that purple one is over here. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to move this. Well, it really doesn't matter. I can move the blue one down and then move it here, or move the purple one down. It really doesn't matter. So I'm going to go ahead and move the blue one down. Now, even though this will come over here, it's not my goal to solve this. In other words, if this ends up down over here, that's really not my goal. But my goal is to move this blue one down, so let's do that. So this becomes our R. Back, back, bang, bang. Zoom, pow, this moves in. Okay, I wanted to move this down. That was my overall goal. because now I can move this over here and move this in. So this will come to here, this will come to here, and this will come to here and be very nicely tucked into the very edge that we're trying to solve. So let's do it. Forward, back, back, bang, bang, zoom, pow. And move this back over here. Okay, you can see this center is all but almost completely put in, but not quite where we need it yet. I like this, and now we're just going to finish our whole scheme here. And this scheme, as it is, we'll place this to here, and this to here. And all of our sides, all of our edges will be consistent, just not put in. So let's put that in now. So forward, forward, back, back, bang, bang, zoom, and pow. Okay, now let's take a look at what we did. We basically have all this center in. This is good, this is in. We take a look at this. This side is solved, this side is solved. What we don't have is this, but these two can be cleanly swapped. If I can just swap this to here and this to here. So you guessed it, what I'm going to be doing at this point is exactly the same thing. The same thing I did with these guys, I'm going to expand out to here. All of this becomes an edge. I'm now going to look at this as an edge, and I'm now going to do an adjacent edge swap. Move this over here, and it doesn't matter. This was one of my last of the two sides. It's in, it's locked in, it's okay. I can even move it into position here and be okay with everything. Now, if we're getting a little freaked out about the positioning and we really want to make sure that everything is where it needs to be, maybe I should pause right now and just see that I have not made a horrible mistake, and I have to start at the drawing board, which you should never be afraid to do, as painful as it might be. So let's go ahead and just do a little housekeeping first before we go to the next step. Okay, not in, not in, not in, in! Oh joy. Okay, and just to prove it to ourselves, now notice what I'm doing here is exactly the same 3 cycle, but just at the ends. And do it again. Forward, forward, back, back, bang, bang, zoom, and pow. Okay, so we're good. We don't have to worry about that. Now let's just keep track of what we're doing here. What we need to do is we need to do a 3 cycle, or rather a adjacent edge swap here. Yeah, we'll stick with the 2 that we've always been working with. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and do that. Now understand what's going to happen with my adjacent edge swap. These 2 will swap, but this entire complex will rotate 180 degrees. Then we'll do an opposite edge swap, and everything, and then basically everything will be within 180 degrees of where it needs to be. This is going to be my R over here. So 2R, U, 2R, U, 2R, 2U, 2R, 2U, 2R, U, 2R, UI, 2R. Okay? They did get swapped, but this did rotate, and we have parity here. So now we just very quickly do an opposite edge swap to get the parity out. This will swap, and this will come with it. So 2R, 2U, 2R, 2U, 2R, 2U, and no worries, all that's back. So let's take a look at our problem child here. And as you can see, this dark green, light green needs to come over here. This yellow and blue needs to come over here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that same algorithm. My prediction is these corners are now going to be swapped, and we're going to have to try to swap them back. Let's move it like this and do it like this, actually. So R to U, R to U, R to U, R to U, and R. Everything is fine, everything is dandy, everything is great, but these guys need to be flipped, and we saw how we did that the last time, so let's have a little fun and do it again. Now, understand there's no equivalencies, so we're going to move this on the bottom, and we're just going to start 3 cycling. So that I don't get confused, I'm just going to keep cycling this orange down. So let's move this up, and let's do that step that we did at the beginning of these sets again. One more 3 cycle, this will be in, this will be in, and this will be in, and then we got it. So forward, forward, back, back, bang, bang, zoom, pow, and what do you know? We did it. We solved the last 2 centers of this 8x8 barrel cube. If you do no more and see no more, I think we're doing okay. So let's actually go ahead and make sure that our centers make sense. It would be horrible to have gone through all this and have made a mistake and have to do it again. But to be honest with you, even if that were the case, so what? It'll give me more practice. You don't design and make a puzzle like this and buy it without wanting to get your money's worth. I am getting my money's worth. So all the centers are in, we've solved that, and then we move on to the next part, which is edge pairing. We've already checked our work in terms of the centers and realized that the edges are fine, so we now move on into actual edge pairing.